welcome back. We are going to discuss the second test, which used to be bridal. We don't call it bridal anymore because we are now looking at special occasion hair. So this may be someone who is attending a wedding, maybe as a bridesmaid. They could be going to prom. They may be going out to
a ball,
yeah,
a charity event.
Really anything that we can kind of wrap our heads around. So again, we're not picking what the special occasion is. That's going to be done by an independent panel, put into an envelope, and that's going to be discussed at the time. Again, if you were looking in your bookings, you would see this as a client for an updo or a style or whatever the case may be, and you really wouldn't know a lot about that client or what they were coming in for. You just have your time slot, and the time slot for this one is for an hour and a half. And so in will walk your client with her long hair, and she will tell you exactly what it is she wants. So the special occasion will be revealed, as will the wishes of the client. So it's a long hair client, this is what we know, and that the wishes will be communicated on the day of the competition, which is something that typically happens in the salon. So we look at this one and we want to make sure that you understand that we don't allow any color to be incorporated into this style. So whatever color the client comes in with, in this case the mannequin, we aren't going to enhance that color in any way, shape, or form. We don't allow our competitors to take them to the shampoo bowl and put a purple shampoo through that to brighten that color, or to add any colored mascaras, anything, no sparkles, no sprays with any color. This is just hair being put into a style. So the client may ask you for a wish. For an example, what would be a good wish, Colleen?
A low bun.
Right.
That's a common request these days. But it could be a messy bun. It could be a crisp, smooth bun. So the wishes could say low bun, but if it only says low bun, that kind of opens up your
creativity. And your interpretation of what the occasion is. So if the occasion is that they're going to a music awards ceremony, they're going to probably be a little bit edgier than maybe if they were going to a corporate dinner. So the student has to take into accountability some of the suitability of what it is they're going to do with that client.
And again, being mindful that you're not going too crazy out of the commercial, because again, we're looking for people that would actually come to our salon.
And it could also be bridal. This could be a bride.
Could be bridal, yeah.
She could be a bohemian bride. She could be someone who's very, very conservative, and she, we may say that in the wishes that, this is a very conservative lady who would like something very clean, very crisp. She would like a very specific braid on the outside. She may ask for a 3-strand braid to be put in there, or a messy braid. If she was a bohemian bride, they may ask for more of a faux hawk. There's a lot of possibilities, and that's why we don't list the possibilities, because they're endless, and we have no way of predicting what our hairstylists that we ask to put things into envelopes, we don't know what they're going to pick, just like we would know with the client. So we're hoping that it taxes our young competitors to really reach deep to find that creativeness in them. We love this competition because this is the creative one where they really get to do something different. Yeah. So again, the finished results, free choice of professional tools allowed. You'll notice that we always emphasize that it has to be a professional tool. You can't use a kitchen tool as a hair tool, even though it may work for you. It's not professional, and we would not allow it on our floor. You would be in violation of your rules. We don't allow any cutting implements or tweezers are allowed in this one. So if you've had any experience in the intermediate one before that's bridal, we allow students to clean up those used mannequins. The reason we allow students to do that is because usually these are training mannequins that they've been using, and there's a ton of breakage, and they're very disadvantaged if they're in a school that doesn't have high-end mannequins. So we allow them to clean off that excess breakage that they see. In this competition, they're getting a brand new mannequin. There is no excess breakage. There is no reason for them to be cutting or trimming or cleaning up anything. That should have been done while they were doing their styling.
And if they're getting pokey, messy, then that's on themselves in their training. that is part of the training, is to teach your student to do clean work.
And that's a lot to do with product use
Yeah.
and styling techniques.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. We don't allow any fillers, padding, or extensions are allowed in this competition. There's no hair netting allowed. Even if you cut that net off afterwards, you're not allowed to use that net to build and then remove. That's not allowed.
Are they allowed to use netting as ornamentation?
No, there's no netting
Because
allowed.
that's been a question before, so I thought I'd pose that for you.
In fact, ornamentation is going to be provided and it has to be used. So that's one of the things you know, is that this client is coming in with a very specific ornamentation that will be revealed again on the day of competition, and no one knows what that is. So that ornamentation will have to be used by the student, and no other ornamentation can be used. That's an important thing for you to know. Don't try to plan this. Don't send extra things because they can't use
And
any
that is a
ornamentation.
newer add-on, because in the past you have been able to add some of your own to enhance, but this year we have decided that whatever is provided is what you use. Because that's what a client would do, is they bring in their headpiece, hairpiece, jewel, whatever, and that's what would be used.
So the hair is not to be cut at all. There's no dressing of the mannequin allowed. And this is also important. There are no penetrating pins into the head. We would not stick our client with a pin. Therefore, we won't stick our mannequin with one either. So I know, again, that's different if you've been in the intermediate competitions. You're used to students being able to stick whatever they wanted to hold the hair secure, to make it do what they wanted to. I've seen all sorts of interesting things being used. That's not what we do at the senior level. At the senior level, we are treating that client as if they had a living, breathing heartbeat. And sticking pins is not something we would do. So that's pretty much that competition. At the end of the day, we're hoping for a lot of creativity and a lot of good interpretation to the wishes that are given. And I know that when I've talked to several stylists that are going to be choosing wishes, they've said, is like, how open is it? And we've said it's open. Whatever you would do in the salon, whatever a client would come in and ask for, that's kind of what we're looking for. So we're excited for this one this year again.
With the marking, we'll just go over this quick because it's pretty straightforward. Are the wishes present? It's pretty much a yes or a no. Are all of them present? Sorry. Is it commercial? Is it suitable for what the event was called for? So if it was a prom, does it look like something a prom student would wear?
And again, so those are the objective
Yeah.
outcomes, and the objective ones are marked by the panel on the floor, as long as they don't have a competitor.
And then for the judges, they're looking for balance, okay? When they go around in the whole 3D aspect of going around the whole mannequin, front, side, back, does it look like it's balanced? Does it make sense at all angles? Or are we having too much here and not enough here? Like, that's important. So when you're training your student, get them to look at all angles. It's really important. Because that can be the make or break, especially in bridal. That's usually the one that gets everybody. Is the finish clean? Another big one. It would be, if it's the boho kind of bridal, a little messy might be okay. But if you pick conservative bride with a clean low bun, you want it to be clean. We don't want to see the fuzzy back combing. We don't want to see the little ends poking out. So are they using their product properly, and does it look seamless to what the wishes are? And then creativity. Even though we're giving you a certain look or wish, we still want students to in some way put their own spin on it. Just because there's a picture, it doesn't necessarily have to be completely identical, but is it mimicking in some way what the wishes are? Okay? Is it in some way accurate? But there is creativity still involved, degree of difficulty, right? So like if there's a low bun and somebody just does some bubble curls, or like, and then there's somebody who does the big back comb smooth, there could be a technical difference in that can make or break a student's look, okay? So again, degree of difficulty and creativity, I think, are hand in hand. So that's basically what they're looking at for judging those ones. Balance, creativity, difficulty, and first and foremost. Is it clean, and would a person actually pay you leaving that salon to go to their special event?
Things you want to avoid in this competition. You want to avoid big pieces of hair that are just sticking up out of nowhere. Pieces that have been sprayed on but wouldn't hold up if the client walked out of the salon or walked into the wind. This isn't it's not going to award you any points. You're going to lose points on that because it's not authentic. We're looking for something that's realistic, that would stand up, that the client could wear. So if you've got pieces that have been separated out and plastered, I go back to the old loop style. That's not what is going to place in this competition. Don't think old style. Think about what's happening in the salon today and how people are wearing their hair, and that it has to stand up. You have to see stability within that style because the judges will be looking for that type of stability too. They also know that this style has to last.
Yeah, and again, we keep saying this, but I think it's worth repeating, is it's your Instagrammable client. The person that you're proud of, that you would put on your Instagram. Not just some random, I cut her hair and blow dried it today. Like somebody that you're like, this is a good self-promotion of what I'm capable of doing.
Right.
And also make sure you don't have pins showing. That's a big one.
Right.
That'll demerit. That will demerit and lose you marks.
Absolutely. It goes
That's
into
part of the clean.
Right.
Are your pins showing? Did you accidentally leave a clip in the hair? Teach your students, competitors, to, before they finish and hands off, to give the once over and make sure they haven't missed anything. Because that's a lot of times what some kid comes crying and all upset about is that they had that one thing left in the hair, or they couldn't push that pin in time. It's important.
If I was training a student for this competition, I would continually give them box challenges. I would find as many different scenarios as I could and just see what kind of areas they could come up with. I'd give them loose braids, I'd give them tight braids, I'd give them loose buns, tight buns, high buns,
French
low
roll.
buns, French roll,
They're coming back.
twists. I'd give
Twist
them
knots.
everything I could think of. I would give them in different groupings just to see what they could come up with, and then go through and critique with them. This is a fun one to train, and it's such a fun one when we see it on the floor. But it's also a heavy duty make or break. I have to tell you, every year I look and I'm looking for that student who has that creativity, that creative interpretation of what they were told. So have fun with this one. Again, the training for this is fun. If you are looking for some feedback, just take a picture, send it to some of your top stylists and say, hey, what do you think of this? Take a look at their Instagram pages. That's going to give you some real good inspiration.